Alright, I think we're actually live and working now. Welcome, everybody, to the Gaming Table Podcast, the podcast where I invite people on to talk about random topics of the week while we play some chill games in the background. Tonight's topic, I think, is going to be interesting to some people, maybe not as interesting as others, but you know what? It's our opinions, and that's what matters. Only our opinions, because we're influencers. That's right? That's how that works. Tonight, for the podcast, I am welcoming to the gaming table Cutie Straw, who is going to be giving us all of her opinions on everything that has to do with dinosaurs. Say hi,
Oh
Cutie
yeah,
Straw.
my muzzle was taken off.
Yep.
Well, I'm sorry, it takes a second for a thing to get sent to me. Whee.
For tonight, we are going to be playing some Power Wash Simulator, as Cutie Straw has requested for her chill game. It's not too loud for the chat, is it?
I'm peeing on everything.
Audio of the water sound good, everybody? Don't want to blast anybody out with the sounds of sultry power wash.
This game scratches an itch like no other.
I think Series is going to put your comment on a shirt. Hey, Series and System, glad to see you guys in chat. Welcome everybody who's just viewing.
Hello, series and system.
Yeah, this game does scratch an itch, but it should be a good game to have some conversation around. Tonight, our topic of discussion is Jurassic Park.
Yay!
And I know it's something that Cutie Straw is very opinionated about. She probably has a lot to say about dinosaurs in general.
Yes. Also, Jeff Goldblum.
Also, Jeff Goldblum. Yes, we're gonna be talking about all sorts of Jurassic Park stuff. But first, Cutie Straw. Well, it's sort of a tradition that we have little rants sometimes at the beginning of these. Do you have any rants or any like good feeling vibes you want to spread out?
I mean, I can rant about anything. I don't think you want me to have that power.
Nothing that the system is apparently dead from the neck up, whatever that means.
I mean, as long as he puts his pants on. Which, knowing system, he did.
He is very good at putting his pants on, especially for Phasmo. Well, I can safely say that I do have a rant for today. A very short rant, but I think it stands to reason. If you guys ever find yourselves in a position where you feel the need to sit outside at, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the morning, blaring your radio on your car speaker,
Oh, I see
rethink
where this is going.
rethink your life, please, and consider the fact that there are those around you who don't want to hear your radio at 2 o'clock in the morning. I would like to have gotten more than 3 hours of sleep last night, but you know what? Somebody decided to try and break down my castle walls with their loudspeakers, so here we
Actually, no, you know
are.
what? I do have a rant of my own.
Alright. What is your
Okay.
rant?
Uh,
1097 Cutie Straw.
I don't know why it gave me 1097 whenever I made my gamer tag, by the way. Like, it never gave me the option to get rid of the 1097 or even addend it to a different number. And that bugs me. But that's not what this rant is about. No, my rant is about being in a department where I'm the smartest person in there, and it's such a pain in the ass because I keep having to like dumb myself down because if I don't, all I do is go and bitch to somebody about how, I'm not being fair or something like that. When it's like, I can't help it that y'all are so dumb you can't read half the time. And then whenever somebody tells you what something says, you just whine and say, "No, that's not right." Like today, like I had to watch the three other people in my department all crowd around one person's desk and sit there and gawk at the screen and then gawk at the paperwork and then sit there and cluck each other like hens because they couldn't figure out what something said. And I'm the person who'll know what something says because the thing in question is something I'm good at reading. Um, But no, instead of asking me, they have to continue to do the stupid shit that they continuously do, where they have to just I'm gonna turn down the water a little bit. It's splashing in my ears a little bit too hard. There we go. Um, like they don't want to ask me to read things for them anymore. I don't know why, but it's a thing of like the blind leading the deaf kind of thing, where it's like the three people who don't know what the hell they're doing half the time are trying to help each other, and it's like you don't have a quarter of a brain cell to rub together. Like, just stop.
Yeah, I think Sirius might be right because they can't complain about it later.
Well, the good news is, Best Buy ended up having a sale on some really nice noise canceling headphones because I fucked up my earbuds when I was cleaning them and ended up busting out like the thing that does like the balancing for the noise canceling. So now if I try to do the noise canceling, I show like a bunch of wind going in my ear. Um, but one of my coworkers got me a gift card for Christmas because he knew I needed new headphones so I could tune out the bullshit in my department because it's literally like listening to Roseanne Barr like scream, but like it's like a bunch of them screaming at once and they're all trying to be louder than the other and they all sound just as stupid as the other one. Um, and so it's just But yeah, I have new headphones I'm gonna charge up tonight and then tomorrow I ain't gonna hear shit.
Ah, sweet silence.
Besides, whatever the fuck I pull up on YouTube, or if I go back to listening to Tales from the Gas Station, since I have that downloaded as an Audible book.
Not sponsored by Best Buy, Audible, or Tales from the Gas Station.
I
However,
mean, Jack Townsend's welcome to sponsor me if he wants to. I love him.
yeah, I was gonna say like if Jack Townsend finds this podcast, he's more than welcome to talk about Tales from the Gas Station.
It's okay, Jack. Just because they didn't appreciate you on Creepcast doesn't mean I'm not going to.
Also not sponsored by Creepcast. Stop
No,
making me say this.
I will fight both Isaiah and Hunter on the moon. I don't care.
Oh my god.
I love them, but I will fight them.
Well, they're at least the least likely to sue me if if they get called out.
I don't know. Hunter seems like he'd be pretty vicious.
Um, I can talk him down.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, he'll
We're
love
gonna talk
me.
about dinosaurs, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, but your rant. This is off
Listen,
topic rant.
you
It's
are
fine.
talking to somebody with
Mhm.
like undiagnosed ADHD. Like, I won't shut up unless you make me. So you got to keep me on track. It's like when you're trying to like get a cat's attention, like a dog's attention, like over here, over here. Like you like jingle a bell or like squeak a ball or something. Like you have to like figure out how to get me off track. Like, as I won't shut up. You know this. We've been friends for fucking ever now.
Yeah, I'm aware of how bad it gets, and you like to go chasing rabbits and stuff. But yes, we are going to discuss some scaly, possibly feathery lizards. We'll find out.
I was gonna say you have to go a little bit further into detail about what we're gonna be talking about here because currently it just sounds like some weird furry stuff, and I just don't want to be involved in that.
No, no, no. That's a different podcast. That's System's gonna help me all with that one.
Oh well, congratulations, system. I'm glad I'm not the one that has to bear that burden. Godspeed. I salute you.
I would bring Sirius on for that, but he's a bald yeti, so he can't really do that anymore.
He's a bald yeti.
He knows what I'm.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when you try to keep a yeti in captivity. It loses all of its hair.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's gonna die to the elements. Way to go.
That's Piper's opinion.
Yeah, well, she's not a bald yeti.
No, no, she is not. In fact, she is quite hairy. All right, so for topic number one, cutie straw, let's let's make a hard question. It might not be a super hard question because I think I know what you're gonna say.
Yes, I will kiss Jeff Goldblum next. Like, I'm not
Please.
even joking. That man was my first crush. I legitimately didn't even know what crushes were at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, so for context, so when I was growing up, the most that I knew about, like, anybody wearing the color black, because I saw the movie Ghost as well when I was, like, super young, was like, oh, usually it's like the bad guy or something is wearing black. And so when I saw Jurassic Park for the first time, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I knew it was dinosaurs, and there's a guy wearing black. That I'm like, I like looking at him, but I don't think I'm supposed to because I think he's the bad guy. So, I was like 3 or 4 and had no clue what a crush was. But damn, it was Jeff Goldblum apparently. Hello, Banty. What the fuck do you want?
Hi, Chad. My first crush was Arnold Schwarzenegger from
Congratulations.
Terminator 1, actually, when he was technically the bad guy. But in Terminator 2, I had a thing for is it Robert Patrick that played T-1000?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was Robert Patrick who played T-1000. I had a big thing for him as
I
well.
have never seen Terminator of any kind. You start picking at me.
Don't move.
Ah, stop it!
Don't move.
Ow! Ow!
I barely squeaked.
My
Stop it!
podcast has been hijacked.
She came over and she's trying to squeeze something on my shoulder and it hurts.
Not during podcast time. Oh my god.
Well, she just slunk out of the shadows and then here she is. Ow!
Get right off.
Which we're gonna get to Jeff Goldblum, okay? We're gonna get there. That's later. For now, I want to know which Jurassic Park
Ow!
film is your favorite.
Ow! Sorry, I'm still being poked and prodded like a lab animal.
Well, tell her to stop. We're busy.
I'm trying. Ow! Stop! You can use the pokey tools later. Stop it.
Okay, fine.
Go away. Alright, she left. I'm safe now. Alright.
Chat's already expressing their opinion, so
Hello, Sparkles. For me, I mean, easy cop-out answer is gonna be the first one. I love the original Jurassic Park. Like, I remember the first time I saw it because my papa randomly brought it home for me on VHS when I was a kid. Um, and like all I knew was, ooh, dinosaurs. And I also wanted the goggles that Timmy had.
yeah, he had some pretty sick goggles. You know, the technology that they kind of expressed in that first one was pretty ahead for what it was.
Mm-hmm. I mean, especially like just with the T-Rex, that just being like an actual like thing they created.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now it's like everything's CGI, everything's just, fucking, computer generated. It's like now we built this shit from the ground up. Also, it got wet and then things started going bad. So,
Yeah, I do remember the story of the T-Rex like actually losing its mind because it got too wet. and
Hmm.
like the electronics inside were freaking out, so it was basically always in attack mode.
I mean,
All
that's
right.
fine. Live by the Rex, die by the Rex.
So so one is your easy cop out answer, right? All right. So what? But is that like your actual favorite? Because you got to remember, there's 6 movies going on 7 here to pick from. So,
I mean, to be fair, I've seen Jurassic World once, and that's when we saw it in theaters. I
mm,
didn't see the second part of Jurassic World. I saw the final part, Dominion. We saw that in theaters, and I loved it. So I can't really count the newer movies. Um, so I don't because those aren't really Jurassic Park. It's like its own thing, you know.
mm,
Um, or at least for me, that's how I see it. But no, I'd still go with one because two was good, but it was also just kind of out there. I mean, yes, more Jeff Goldblum's always good, and that's really all I cared about for it. But then we don't talk about three. Three was just dog shit.
I think 2 was good. I think that this was probably most people's opinions. It could have done without the rampage through New York nonsense.
Yeah, that's honestly like that was like jumping the shark level kind of like stuff for it. Like I think without that it'd been better. And also like the random like acrobatics part for the daughter and everything.
Yeah, well, she was a gymnast. You had to bring that plot point back up.
So it doesn't matter. I mean, hell, like
Well, you
nowadays
had
with like some games, like okay, for instance, like I'm watching or listening to the Game Grumps go through Danganronpa V3, and I've
not
played
sponsored
it.
by
I
Game
just didn't
Grumps.
remember. Shut up, we know. Everyone knows.
I have to
Um,
state it before somebody gets any bright ideas.
no one's gonna get any bright ideas. I doubt that System or Series is gonna be like, oh my god, they're totally sponsored by the Game Grumps.
Funny enough, I'm not worried about them. I'm
I doubt
worried
anybody else watching is gonna think it too.
worried about the powers that be.
But
Continue your rant. Let me worry about my logistics.
oh my lord. Um, but they're playing Danganronpa V3, and I played it like years ago when it first came out on the Vita, and I liked it, but I didn't remember shit about it because it's been so long since I played it. But there's one character that's the ultimate cosplayer. You never see her cosplay at any point, but she's the ultimate. At least with everybody else, like they kind of like talk about their ultimate abilities to a degree if they know they've got it.
Hmm.
All we know is that she can't cosplay real people. So it's like, yeah, you can give people traits. It doesn't mean you have to talk about it. So why do they have to go back to the whole gymnast thing? I mean, you could just say it. You don't have to show it.
Well, yeah, but I
Congratulations,
mean,
she's a gymnast.
well,
Yeah,
yeah,
she's
you
totally
know,
gonna be able to like spin and kick a, velociraptor because that's how that shit works.
well, do you not under the velociraptors aren't gymnasts? That's the whole problem.
I mean, maybe they just weren't given equal opportunity. Maybe there's discrimination.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you didn't think about that, did you?
What? But the fact that they're dinosaurs, or the fact that they're velociraptors? Because there's a lot of ways this can go.
No, the discrimination against velociraptors.
Oh, okay, specifically the velociraptors.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they just weren't given the opportunity to be gymnasts, huh?
I don't know. They cleared some of those roofs pretty well.
This is true, but I mean, still, do you think they had any actual, like, training?
Where where are you going with this?
Thank you, system. I fired and I missed. Fired again, missed again. Moral of the story? Missed.
So like I
I had
think
another popsicle.
I think for me I want to say 1 probably is also my favorite, and I think that's like everyone's answer, but 2 is very, very close for me because it was the one that I remember watching the most because it was the
Mhm.
one that was most on TV and available at the time.
That makes sense.
Um, I loved the concept of 2 up until that part, and I think up until then I was fine with it. Um, I'm not really sure why that was added in there. Because to me, it felt like when they left the island, that that was like it. Like that was the end of the movie.
Gotta pad that runtime, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because you had everything wrapped up though. Is what kind of got me. Because you had the end to Roland's story, you had the end to the survivors' story. Uh, I think like they could have really led into something cool had they just left it alone. But I get like too. I think the reason, and this may just be speculation on my part, but I think part of it is because two was more or less Malcolm's story, and they had to basically kind of do that immediate payoff with him of like, see, I told you so.
Just let him be a, smarty pants.
Mm-hmm. Because it's trying to like really lean into that chaos theory that they always talk about, and
I mean,
I
I feel
think
like there are other ways they could have done it without it being that.
well they absolutely what they could have done is left it alone, done a third movie with that theory in mind, and then gone from there. Because basically, Dominion is exactly what that is realized of why you
See,
shouldn't play with nature and take
a lot
dinosaurs
of
away from the
people,
island.
a lot of people shit on Dominion, but I really loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't really give a shit what anybody else has to say about it, but like for me, like I remember us being in the theater and like we're both just cheesing out. I cried at one point, like I was just so excited, and it's like I wonder if it's like people who just don't have a sense of whimsy anymore,
Well,
because a lot of people really don't now. Oh, we have a bot in the chat.
oh my god, I'll deal with it in a minute. Um,
But like people are like, well, it should have been like this. Like, shut up, y'all weren't here for this. Go away.
yeah, I will say that Dominion was it's weird because you get the people like us who grew up with it that hated Dominion. You get the people who grew up like us that loved it, and I think for me, it was kind of just a fix for a lot of things that went wrong with that third movie.
Yeah, like how they're like, oh no, we're gonna have it where, you don't get your, happy romance that you all wanted. She's with the random fucking lawyer or some shit. And it's like, why?
Yeah, all right. So I wasn't gonna drop this, but we're already here. So this is supposed to be a later topic, but we we have to talk about Jurassic Park 3. You know that, right?
Uh,
Yeah, we have to.
the only way that I accept Jurassic Park 3 is in Lego form because it was hilarious.
All right. So here's the thing. And
Really, the phone inside of the dinosaur.
I know, I know. All right. So if anybody loves Jurassic Park 3, more power to you, but you're wrong. So
If you love Jurassic Park 3, you probably need to go to the doctor and see if you have a tumor somewhere in your brain. Because it's the only thing that explains that.
all right. So here's the thing. Um, Jurassic Park 3, I think, could have been really good. The biggest issue with it, that from what I understand and just looking into it over the years, it was actually in the process of writing while they were filming. That's
Oh
why,
no.
yes, that is why it was such a janky mess, is because, like, they were basically day to day getting the script.
God, that's just it's like back when Dragon Ball Z was like first becoming like a thing in the US and everything, and they were showing like, the anime and everything, but then it's like, oh, well, the anime's caught up with the manga. Well, now we're just gonna have a bunch of filler where they scream for 80% of the episode
Yup.
with fight sequences, and it's like, this is why you don't jump the gun on this.
So I think like there was a lot of things that went wrong, and every one of the big ones, and everybody's either divided on this or they're all in agreement. The Spinosaurus versus the T Rex thing was absolutely ridiculous.
Yes.
All right, um, that they wanted to do something different, and I don't have a problem with that. However, the one thing that has been the most beloved in every Jurassic Park movie ever is the T Rex because it's the king of all the dinosaurs. It's like the most recognizable dinosaur. There's a gnome in this tower, and I don't appreciate it.
But see, that's why I liked in Jurassic World, like when the Indominus Rex and the T Rex are going head to head and everything, and there's a Spinosaurus skeleton that the T Rex ends up destroying. It's like, yes,
Mm-hmm.
revenge. History has been corrected.
Yeah, there was a few things that Jurassic World I think did a lot of fan service too, and that was one of them. Uh,
Especially Jimmy Buffett. May he rest in peace.
yeah, rip Jimmy Buffett. You know, and that's like that's the other thing too is that I think if you're in the middle of writing and you're in the middle of like, well, I want to do this because I want to be like against the grain, you kind of have to understand that you make when you make one movie, right? One movie will set a franchise. Any deviation from that plan from there forward is not going to sit well with the people who love that franchise. And that's why it kind of, and we see that all the time. We see it with Jurassic Park and Star Wars and Star Trek, and it's like we get
Jaws.
Jaws, like we get people who want to direct these things, and then they're like, well, I think I have the greatest shake up idea to ever shake ideas. Or they sit there and go, you know what? I'm going to actively choose to make people mad because I'm a artist like that. It's like that's fine. If you want to be an artist. That's okay, but do it with your own project. That's something you have to remember is that when you're being brought into a franchise, you're not the person who made the franchise. You're
I
not
will
gonna.
die.
Hmm?
I will die on the hill though for Jaws 3D. Like, I know it's cheesy. I know it isn't good. I don't care. I love that one with every fiber of my being. I love the little floating spam block of a shark that goes floating towards the screen and then crashes through the window. And it's supposed to be all scary and stuff. I don't care that he doesn't move his tail. It doesn't matter. I love that movie. It is so dumb, but it is my dumb movie, and I will love it until the day I die. However, Jaws 4 is unforgivable.
Oh my god.
The
Pre-
shark roared.
preview
Sharks
for a
can't do that.
preview for a later episode down the line of the podcast is we're going to talk about sharks with Cutie Straw. And see,
My special brand of autism.
I was gonna say like you see how crazy she's gonna get over that. Like Jurassic Park 3. All right, let's break it down, okay? From the beginning, all right? The very beginning with the with the kite flying towards the island. What did you think about that part of the movie?
I I don't think there are words in the English language.
Not at all.
No.
Okay.
No.
What about well, you mentioned this part, all right? So we skip ahead and we find out that our happy-go-lucky protagonists that they decided to bring back for this movie were not together anymore for some reason after surviving a horrible dinosaur-filled fate. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
could stay I could stay with the guy who was there when we almost died via a creature that no longer existed until like recently because somebody played God and brought it back. You know, someone that I trauma bonded with. I could be with him or I could be with a lawyer, you know, because yeah, that makes sense. Someone who won't understand my trauma or what I went through. Yeah, that makes sense. That totally makes sense.
Like, so when I was a kid and I was in the theater with watching that, I was kind of like, but why? Were they not getting married and such?
I mean, she could have just married Malcolm. That'd have been fine with me too.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a very strange decision to make. And also her whole part in that was just weird to begin with. Like, look, we put this in the movie to show you that they're not together anymore. Isn't that fun? Don't worry, it'll be
Yeah,
important later.
and then it wasn't.
Well, no, no,
You
no.
know, I
She
feel
called
like
she called the military though.
yeah, but it's like okay, there are other ways you could have made this happen.
Oh, there were plenty of ways that it could have not been what it was.
But it's one of those things where it feels like too many random ass people were trying to write a movie, and they just like Frankensteined a bunch of different like plots together. Like here we go, it's a movie, and it's got dinosaurs, kind of. Yeah.
Also, I'm going to point this out about how weird that whole situation was because you tell me anybody in their right mind is going to be like, "Yes, honey, it's okay that the uh that your ex who you trauma bonded with can come around the house anytime he feels like." It's not weird at all for me being a lawyer, mad lawyer. Like that part was just weird to me. And maybe that's just me,
I mean,
but like
it'd
it
make more sense if it was an actual fully developed character that mattered. Because, like, I mean, that's the thing in real life that you can do if you're secure in your relationship and stuff like
yeah.
that. But this dude was just a random ponce, and it's like, no one likes you. No one wants her to be with you in the first place. Like, this is just, it's weird. It's dumb.
Oh, and let's not forget that they put that part in there to show that Dr. Grant had some serious trauma
Dr. Grant?
because he looked and I'm thinking about that part now, but he looked at Ellie and he was like, "Do you remember the sounds they made?"
It's like they're trying to make him some paranoid schizophrenic or something, and it's like, she was there.
And she's like, "Yes, every night." It's like, what is this? Did you need to show that that's why they're not together is because of the velociraptors?
I still like in the Lego version, the like raptor version
Oh my god,
of
yeah.
of Malcolm, like in his dream with the stupid sunglasses on and everything. Oh god, that killed me.
Oh yeah. Like it's I don't know, there was a lot of weirdness to adding that in there that I'm just like from a standpoint of random Joe just being okay with everything and then uh also, can we just say that it was really weird that the kid was like, I only know him as the dinosaur man?
Like I said, it's like people there were too many people with their hands on the script who didn't know how to write, Maybe it was baby's first screenplay. I don't know. Um,
And they had
but
a parrot at one point? Because he was like, oh, the bird used to know me. It's like, how deep was this relationship?
can we talk about not three so I don't
Oh,
want
no, no,
to
no.
unalive myself?
We're not done. We got to talk about a
Oh my
couple.
god.
We have to talk. We have to go through three. Come on. We have to go through three.
Why? What else is there to go through?
Oh, well, there's two parts that I feel like we haven't really discussed yet. Can we discuss the pterodons? But they're in a cage, a not open cage. Remember, except it was.
Listen, I'm just remembering how much I hated that level in Lego Jurassic World. All right.
Uh huh.
Like playing through Jurassic Park 3 on there, even though it's funnier, is still painful for me. I want to just fly through that level every single time I reboot that game up. It physically pains me.
So I won't. I will spare you some of the talking points on three. However, you brought one up, and it has to be. We have to talk about it.
Is it the cell phone?
It's the cell phone.
Ah, fuck me.
Do you? All right. Do you have this thing? I have it. I don't know if it's just the way my brain works. When I think about that cell phone specifically, I hear the ringtone.
Uh-huh. Because
Like,
that was like the classic like Nokia tone.
mm-hmm. Like I hear it verbatim, and it's like it triggers this weird thing in me where I'm like, I hate everything on this planet. But
Mhm.
also, I'm now looking for dinosaur poop. Yeah, Dino Poop series. Uh, I have never. I'm not gonna say never. It's rare that I have seen a more MacGuffin-y MacGuffin than that stupid cell phone.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, what?
Because that's totally gonna survive. It wouldn't have been crushed in its jaws. It
Mm-mm.
wouldn't have dissolved in its stomach acid or anything. It wouldn't have potentially vomited it up, depending. Nah, it's just there.
Well,
And that's
remember
how you're gonna
he.
know it's right behind you.
And here's what got me about this cell phone. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this stupid thing. They're
Mm-hmm.
on the island for like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 days or some shit like that. By the time like the cell phone comes back up, it literally was handed to a side character that died in the first 20 minutes of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's like, "Oh, I loaned it to him right before he," and then he cuts off all dramatic, and you hear the stupid ringtone, and the Spinosaurus, this giant ass fucking dinosaur, just sitting there like, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
how's it going?
Mm-hmm.
You guys remember me?
Mm-hmm.
They call me Sneaky Spino." And it's like, what? How did you? First of all, no. How did no one notice you standing there?
I guess he rolled a nat 20 on his stealth check.
God, he must have. He must have been like, "Oh, I'm gonna spend all my special dice for this one."
Ugh.
The the director says if I roll a nat 20, I get to eat them.
Like, even rolling with disadvantage somehow, it rolled two nat 20s.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, so you have that going on, and then immediately it's almost like the very next hour the dinosaur's like, "Oh right, I swallowed a cell phone," and just shits it out.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, this has been in your body for 4 days.
Like I understand that Nokia was like built different back in the day. Like you could drop a house on it and they'd be fine, but I don't think that it would survive stomach acid or like the digestive tract or anything like that of any kind
No.
of creature.
I mean,
Especially not with the fucking charge still. Unless somehow Dino Bile
uh-huh.
counts as like nature's charger.
No, no, no. See, you're misunderstanding the point of the MacGuffin. That's why when they finally made a call, it had like one battery on 1% signal. And so he called his ex.
So, like, have people, the people who wrote this,
Mm-hmm.
did they ever, like, okay, if you think cell phones now suck once they get to like a low percentage to try to do anything, because another one, once my phone gets to 15%, even if it's on like battery saving mode, like, it's going to drain ridiculously fast if I do anything, let alone make a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna tell me that a Nokia from back in the day is somehow going to have enough power to do a phone call for it wouldn't even be able to dial the number without dying.
Okay, so are you ready? Are you ready for this?
Uh-huh.
This last part of the cell phone.
Series, I hate this too. You're not alone.
Are you ready? He uses the phone, okay,
Hmm.
to call his ex-wife because in my head canon they were actually married and this whole thing is a nightmare. He calls his ex-wife
Hmm.
who doesn't know where they are,
Hmm.
and his only words as he's falling is the river, the river. And from that, she somehow infers that she needs to send the military to an island that they don't know where to go.
It was her Spidey sense.
And they show up. Not to mention, they somehow show up and pull Billy out of the water, who's like, should be dead. Like 4 times over dead. And he's like, "Oh, Dr. Grant, I got your hat. Do you love me yet, Papa?"
Ugh. Are we done with three now? For the love of God, are we done with three?
Yes, we're done with three.
Oh, thank fuck. Now, I don't know if this is in your notes or not, but I have
Yeah.
something Jurassic Park related that we should talk about.
Oh, there's good bet it's in my notes. I think it's because we might be on the same wavelength. What do you think we should talk about?
The Jurassic Park Telltale game.
Okay, not in my notes, but we'll go for it because I do like that.
Because you were there when I played it.
Mm-hmm. Tell me a tale of the
So,
Telltale.
well, I haven't played it in forever. I remember when it came out because, like, the commercials for it. So, for context for everybody listening, I worked at GameStop for 10 years, um, starting in 2010. And so we had the commercials for that game playing all the time, and Telltale was still a relatively new concept for people at the time, like their style of games. Because I think at that point the only things that had come out were the Back to the Future game, which was something you could only buy chapter by chapter, like online, or like I think we sold it like as a digital code. And I think the Walking Dead game had come out. So people still really weren't sure how those games worked or what they were or what their point was. Um, so I definitely didn't know what it was going into it. All I know is that the commercials were funny because like one of the characters that like turns on you and everything, like we just kept making fun of that part in the commercial because it was so stupid. Um, I did like it though because the way that it works is like it's not from the perspective of like anybody in the movies or the first movie because it's centered around the events of the first movie. It's just that you're behind the scenes, like as other people in the park for some reason or other. I don't remember their reasonings,
I think you were
honestly.
a park ranger and a scientist.
I don't
If
remember.
okay,
I I really don't.
what I do remember about the game is that the people that were there, you were a park ranger with your daughter. You find a scientist, and the other people were a group of mercenaries that Biosyn had sent in to get the canister that Nedry dropped.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because it's what Yoder like turned out to be or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it was really cool like seeing how they tried to interweave like things that happen in the movie into it, like where it's like, oh, this thing happened because this happened in the game or vice versa, which was just because it's like also it's happening at the same time as the first movie. Um, so I did appreciate that. It kind of makes me think of like the separate ways chapter of Resident Evil 4, like you're seeing like how Ada helped Leon like through the original game. Uh so I guess it kind of made me feel like that. So I really did think that was pretty neat how they interwove that instead of it just being in like, this is from Dr. Grant's perspective or whatever.
Mm.
Uh but it wasn't bad for what it was. I don't think it was worth what it was out the gate, price wise, because while the game itself is cool and I have played my fair share of, and it's essentially a glorified visual novel to a degree, um, I don't think they should be expensive since you're basically playing with an interactive book with very limited exploration. Because I think it came out at like $40 or something,
Yeah, it was a little pricey.
but
And
it was still fun. I'm glad
this
that I
was
didn't
back
buy
before
it
Game
though.
Pass too.
Yeah, this was OG 360 days when, I think I only ended up having it because I checked it out and beat it like in a day or something like that. And then at some point, I think it like went on super sale and I had it. And then I ended up trading it in at some point. But it wasn't bad for what it was. I think it's just something people forget about because it wasn't something that was like heavily talked about because Telltale as a like play style, or I guess as a format, I guess is the better way to put it, wasn't really well known then and people hadn't accepted it like they have now with the Walking Dead games. Um I think if it came out now, it might be more well received since
Um,
they've made so many other iterations.
if they updated the graphics, I would agree with you.
Well, yeah. I mean, the graphics even then were not wonderful. Uh,
No,
those
they.
models were those models were some like horror
I mean, the
like
dinosaurs look pretty good.
things.
Everything else,
The people not so much. Dinosaurs are great. People not so much.
and I mean, let's face it. There, that's why you watch Jurassic Park or play a Jurassic Park game is for the dinosaurs.
Yeah, that's why I've got the Jurassic World Evolution game and everything.
Hmm. So, I think like another kind of like branching off of that is there. I have run across some good and some not so good uh, analog horrors centered around Jurassic Park. Um, some of it I really do like because it's. If anybody's a fan of analog horror, you probably would like it. I can't remember the specifics, but it was centered around like the workers in the park before everything went bad,
Hmm.
and kind of like how Engine was, at least to some degree, covering this up and covering up the park deaths that they were investigating in the first place. Um, insert quote about corporate greed here. But that's basically really what it boiled down to, and I think that is a thing in the films that gets overlooked sometimes. I know they did not focus on it because the book is vastly different from the movies. I'm not gonna say vastly, but to a degree, the book is very different.
Which I
Um,
still need to read it. I have the like fancy version that they had at Barnes and Noble. It's just you see in my bookshelf, you see my book
mhm.
queue. I have a lot of things I'm trying to read, and then people keep loaning me things. I'm like, well, I have to finish this before I can start what I own.
Just a slight like deviation is that in the book, Hammond is not a good person. Like
Oh, I knew that
he
much.
is very bad. Uh, they eventually made Henry Wu the bad guy he was supposed to be in the books as well.
Look,
With the Jurassic World movies.
I can't take Henry Wu seriously though because I know that the guy who did the voice acting for Shang was Henry Wu,
That's kind
Shang
of
from
funny.
Mulan.
That's actually kind of
So
funny.
it's hard. I mean, he doesn't do the singing because that's Donny Osmond, but uh, just the rest of it though, I'm like, I can't. Shang, what are you doing? You're supposed to be like researching dinosaurs. You're not supposed to be like fighting for China. Go deal with dinosaurs.
But like I think for the most part, all of the movies have their merit except for three, obviously, because that that deviated from a lot of source material.
It feels like a bad fan fiction that somebody wrote. Like, you know what? I'm gonna
Yep.
make this a movie.
And I think that's probably a fair assessment. Is that it does really feel like they were just like, it's Jurassic Park because dinosaurs.
I don't know. I think if they made it its own movie and didn't attach it to the Jurassic Park IP in any way,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it would have worked better on its own. Like leaving out like, you know, Dr. Grant and Ellie and everything, like just making it like a whole new cast of characters. It's just here is a movie about dinosaurs. It probably would have been fine.
Yeah.
Maybe something more like Land of the Lost or something like that. But
Well,
like attaching it to Jurassic Park, like it doesn't feel like a Jurassic Park movie. It doesn't feel like it like in any kind of capacity as far as like I don't know, like even like the way that they wrote, Dr. Grant and everything, like they just make him
different.
such a paranoid baby.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no. Like, yeah, sure, that man's awesome shit. I mean, they all did. But it's like, that man was tough as shit, though. And even then, he didn't get the worst of it comparatively.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody has a right to be traumatized as Malcolm, he went through it twice.
Yeah, Malcolm or even Ellie, because I mean, she's the one who ended up finding Mr. Arnold and everything, like,
Mm-hmm.
at least his arm. And then, had Muldoon, die right there.
So, speaking of Muldoon, there is a interesting little thing. Some of the comics, I believe it's the comics, Muldoon actually survived his injuries.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Uh,
Wait, there are comics?
yes, there are Jurassic Park comics.
Ooh.
They are very old, obviously.
Don't say obviously.
Obviously.
Didn't she also get? Or was that the?
But um, the thing with the comics is they were supposed to kind of be like, oh, well, some of the dinosaurs like escaped the island and stuff like that because they were hiding away on the boats.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh, it's
but
a new arc.
yeah, it's kind of like an arc. So what it was, if I'm remembering right, uh, some of the comics, it was basically like some of the, or maybe no, maybe it wasn't the comics. You know what? It might have been the Lost World book too. I don't remember if it mentioned Muldoon, but in one of the stories, it was either the book or the comics. Uh, Velociraptors had actually hidden away on the boat to going to the mainland during the storm, and that was kind of
I
like
love
how
those
they
little
got.
fuckers.
loose.
I love those little fuckers so much.
Hmm. Like they hid away, and so did the compies.
I mean, the compies are travel size.
Hmm.
They're like me.
But that was kind of interesting, and the way that they had it worked is that he survived his injuries because he managed to shoot the Velociraptor off of him. I think is what it was. But yeah, he was scarred and everything. But yeah, he eventually did come back, which is unfortunate that we're not gonna actually get to see that in movie form, and does make me sad. Because sadly, the actor has passed.
Hmm.
But I definitely like. There's a lot that I think I see them trying to do this with the movies over time. Is where they're taking elements of the both books and making them into movie scenarios, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. I think it's still adapting the work of one of the better writers that and authors that we've had in a long time.
I don't know. I think they actually could make it work, even though the actor's passed. Like,
They
instead of
probably
it being
could.
him, like a child or something, where it's like, my father, blah blah blah. It's like, there's
Hmm.
no way he died on the island, because like they do like the math in their head of like how old like whoever this person is.
Yeah,
It's like, oh no, I guess he did get off. I mean, it might be a bit of a
it's a cop
stretch,
out,
but I
but
mean,
it's doable. I always
it's
thought
one that wouldn't piss me off.
Yeah, I always thought Muldoon was like one of the most badass people
Hmm.
in cinema. Just because of him, like, yeah, I know it's a Velociraptor. I don't care. Oh look, it's Cutie Straw.
Hello. Look,
Um,
we have a dragon.
we also have a snake,
Yeah.
but like, I do really enjoy the movies. What do you think about the dinosaur designs changing over time?
How so specifically?
So in Jurassic Park 1, we had them all scaly and, very reptilian.
Hmm.
In uh, 2, they changed their collar patterns a bit, still scaly and such. 3, they added some feathers for some reason. And
It's
the
because dinosaurs had feathers, apparently.
mhm. And in the Jurassic World movies, they've been feathered and scaled and all sorts of stuff.
I mean, it doesn't really bother me. I mean, considering we learn more about dinosaurs, as the days go by, like, it doesn't really bother me. I like that they had a little bit of both. So it's not just, oh, well, those don't exist anymore or they never existed. It's just, oh, well, here are like the other versions where they did have scale, or not scales, they had feathers.
Hmm.
It's like that I appreciate, where it's not just like trying to erase one to have the other one be a thing that exists.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was getting at. And they said it in Jurassic World. They had Henry Wu say it. I think the best is that
Hmm.
you didn't want accuracy. You wanted monsters,
Hmm.
and that I think there's not a lot of weight put on that because you get the people that complain about uh well, the dinosaurs were scaly. No, they weren't. They were feathery. No, this, no, that. This isn't accurate. This. And it's like, yeah, but you're missing the point of what that part of the movie is talking about.
Hmm.
Because it was never about accuracy. It was about bringing tourists into these places, essentially, and
I
treating
mean, if
it
nothing
like.
else, you could compare it to like how people breed dogs and stuff like that too.
Hmm.
Like it's not about having a healthy dog sometimes. It's that they want like these particular genetics or something, or like they want, when it looks like this specifically. It's not about, the well-being of the dog or anything like that. It's, well, I want one that has this and looks like this and looks like this because it just looks so cute or something like that,
Hmm.
you know? Which is why we have dogs that should not exist that are in pain all the time.
And series and chats kind of got it. Like at least my my dog gets loose, it won't eat my neighbor, which is another thing is that the whole chaos theory, and we're gonna get into that in just a minute. But like the whole chaos theory coming to fruition in varying degrees of worse and worse as the movies progress, I think is something that we can look at too, because in the books, that's how they progress the chapters. So, uh, I don't know. I think it's every copy of the book, but there is a algorithmic progressive cube or pattern, I guess, not cube, but pattern that happens as you turn the pages for the chapters. And it talks about the progression of chaos theory basically spreading and getting worse and being more random. And I think that's kind of something that at least most of the movies did very well, is because every time humanity thinks that they had control over something, they didn't. And that really, still, even today, is a good resonance for just what we do and try to do with nature itself.
Hmm.
Because it will, Malcolm said that life finds a way, and I think it means a lot of different things, but for the most part, the best term or the best way I can explain it is that you will never, ever, ever tame nature. It cannot be
Mm-mm.
done.
Nature will adapt in some way. It will
Hmm.
find a way to.
And that's why you look at it, he's talking about the dinosaurs breeding, but that also has so many other implications of like, well, what if the dinosaurs get loose and then they breed and then they do this and this and this and they start eating and eventually you see it kind of culminates in Dominion where you've got dinosaurs everywhere and they're not really playing nice with anything because they're dinosaurs.
I don't know. I kind of like the ending though, where it's like, oh, they learn to live in harmony. It's like, the Pokemon movie, the Detective Pikachu one.
I don't remember the T Rex having a detective hat, but I'll go with it.
I would lose my mind. That'd be amazing.
Detective T Rex.
Yes.
Um, I think that in the grand scheme, it's like we kind of get blinded by what we should and shouldn't do for the progress of things. Which is going to bring me to my next topic that we've kind of talked about before. And I kind of do want to take a look at it, and I'm going to warn everybody in chat this is not to be a moralist take necessarily. Okay, I'm just prefacing this, but I think it's important given the Jurassic Park discussion we're having. Uh, our scientists today have decided to bring back the woolly mammoth.
Yay!
So here's kind of what, and I kind of went through a breakdown of this just to a point, and we're gonna take it a little bit at a time just to get an opinion that isn't just yay mammoth. Uh, An hour and 10 minutes in, do we have our first technical difficulty? Sure did. Uh, well, I have to get Kitty Straw back in here because for some reason it kicked her out of the party. Don't worry, Kitty Straw. I've sent the invite. Oh no. I mentioned a woolly mammoth and she's gone. She's trying to go live with the mammoths. Kitty Straw, I sent you an invite. Did you not get it? Give me 1 second, folks. This is. Technical difficulties. Oh, Lord. One time. One time I'm gonna have a stream, guys, where there's no technical difficulties and it's gonna be crazy. Hello? Cutie? That's true, Sirius. It wasn't the stream this time. What is happening right now? Oh my lord. I have no idea what's happening with the chat. What's going on? Chat looks normal to me. I think. Oh my lord. I did! Guys, I promise. I've this we're all professionals.
Oops, I did not mean to hit invite everyone to game. I was trying to hit include my audio.
Are we all good?
Oh, thank God, I can hear you now.
Can everybody hear Cutie Straw? Okay.
Holy fuck.
Alright.
I don't know what happened. Like, we were talking, and then suddenly you were gone. It doesn't want us talking about the woolly mouse.
Okay, well that's what I was getting to. Uh, our scientists have created a woolly mouse. Um,
Yay!
so uh, scientists with colossal biosciences totally doesn't sound like an evil organization, by the way. Have decided it's a good idea to bring back an extinct creature by splicing its DNA and the DNA of other animals into current day animals, such as the mouse,
Do I get
which
to have one
has
as a pet?
which has resulted in a very hairy mouse that has color patterns of the woolly mammoth
I
because
want
they
10.
successfully spliced its DNA into this thing. Um,
I will have an army.
I I have some thoughts on this. Um, they're not great thoughts, but we're gonna go down to it just a little bit. So your current standing on this, I'm sure, is yay, bring back the woolly creatures, right?
Yeah.
Okay, is that like your only thought? Is that like an actual thought, or is that just you wanting to pet a woolly mammoth?
Look, I understand, blah, blah, blah. Playing God, we have movies that tell us not to do this. You know what? Life is shit, the world is shit, and I just want to have an adorable little fuzzy mouse that I could put a little fake, like, you know, mammoth nose and tusks on
Uh huh.
and just live out my days being happy with a cute little creature.
Right, but that's the thing is like this is a that's what I'm getting at. It's like this is a stepping stone, okay? This isn't like they're gonna just make a bunch of these mice and let them out into the world. Like they're actively trying to bring back the mammoth.
Well, they are leaving a lot of money on the table by not letting the world have the woolly mouse, because I assure you, plenty of people would buy it. Me
So
included.
this, huh?
I said me included.
So this project, we'll say, is something that they're calling de-extinction because they want to de-extinct not only the mammoth but several other creatures as well. Uh, the dodo is one of them.
Yay!
Uh, the two that concern me because we can't help but do this, they want to bring back the saber tooth and the dire
Yes.
wolf.
Yes.
So
This is
here's the
wonderful.
thing, okay,
No.
and this is no. This is where it goes. This is where it goes wrong. This is where it goes poorly. Okay. The biggest problem in Jurassic Park is they made apex predators and was like, this is a great idea to make apex predators because we can feed them enough and control them enough that nothing bad is going to happen. Okay? But we're not talking about a theme park, all right? Cuz I want to get to a couple of points that I think cross over with some Jurassic Park nonsense. And this is I've kind of labeled these as like Henry Wu points, Hammond points, Grant points, and Malcolm. Okay, because I think they probably had some of the best takes on things like this. Henry Wu is the engineer that made the monsters in the first place. He did the splicing, he did all that crap.
He was also hot. Sorry, it need to be said. Continue.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So already they're doing genetic splicing into other animals, basically creating new hybrid species that have never existed. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is already setting a kind of like dangerous precedent in a way. Now, I'm not gonna. I'm only looking at this, and I'm gonna preface this that I'm only looking at this from a outside perspective of somebody who is not a geneticist. Okay, there's probably 100,000 different reasons why they did this. However, the implications of it are what's disturbing because once you start splicing animals, where do you start drawing that line? And right now, their whole thing, and this is something that I think is a little bit of a deep dive. Their reason that they've given in general is two things.
Mm-hmm.
They want to benefit closely related endangered species by de-extincting these creatures. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Here's my thing. If you were going to de-extinct anything, why are you not de-extincting the things that are endangered right now? Why? What benefit does the woolly mammoth serve for de-extincting like a condor or an elephant?
Well, my
We
guess on
already.
that, to give an actual serious answer before I give you my bullshit, because I have something loaded up for you,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's probably because if you're able to trace back to the oldest ancestor that ever existed and find a way to bring that back, perhaps they think that they could find a way to preserve what's already here. And if we're already bringing back what's extinct, then maybe that's a thing of, okay, well, maybe there's a way to, even though it wouldn't make sense because they're still two different species,
Mm-hmm.
I guess inflate the numbers again of the species we've already got. I don't know.
Yeah.
Now
See
for my
that.
bullshit.
Yeah. Give me your bullshit.
Okay, so we're talking about gene splicing, right?
Uh.
And you're talking about like they want to like bring back the dodo, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I know what they need to I know what they need to splice it with. All right.
Oh God. Okay.
So I need them to splice the dodo
Mm-hmm.
with the Komodo dragon so I can have a Kododo.
I'm taking away your ladder.
I want a Kododo so badly. I'm not 100% sure yet what it looks like in my head, but just based on the name alone, I really want a Kododo.
Oh my God, the Kododo. Oh no, this is gonna be a D&D creature. I can already feel it.
But also, let me also hit you up with something else, okay?
Mm-hmm.
This isn't gonna be splicing. This is just me speaking my wishes into the world, okay? I would be 100% okay with them like ceasing all of this research on the dodo and the woolly mammoth and the direwolf and all. Like they can get rid of all of that today if it means that I am guaranteed that they're going to bring back the megalodon because that's all I want in life. Okay, I want Big Shark. I want Big Shark. And if they bring back Big Shark, I will find Big Shark, and that's how I'm going to die. I will sacrifice myself to the megalodon because there is nothing more in life that I would want than to be eaten by the megalodon.
What? What kind of a nonsense is this? By
There,
purpose.
there's no more glorious death than
Uh huh.
being eaten by my favorite thing. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess I'm never taking